A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. You're all welcome to your favorite channel, YouTube channel, that is Let's Learn Together. And this is Shafiq Ahmed over here. Now I'm going to start a new chapter in grade 10 history, that is print culture and the modern world. A very important chapter, and the questions which comes in the board examination from these chapters are the easiest one. So you can always attempt and get a good marks from that one. Okay, so let us move ahead and start the chapter with the name of the Almighty. Now my first question to begin the chapter is, what is the difference between a manuscript and print? You might have learned about this manuscript and print earlier also in your class 6 to 7, 8, 9, everywhere. So let us discuss the few things about the differences between the manuscripts and print. As you can see, the first three letters stands for MAN. That stands for you, we, human being. Manually, we used to think, we used to do, we used to write. So manuscripts are handwritten documents where it is very, very difficult to make multiple copies. Means we used to make these documents from our hands, that is manually. There is no use of machine in the manuscript. All are handwork. And you know, my dear students, nowadays making multiple copies of the same document are quite easy because we are using machines, printers. But earlier it was really very hard, tough, difficult to make multiple copies. So we can say over here that manuscripts are handwritten documents where it is very difficult to make multiple copies. While print are the documents created with the help of machines where we can make thousands and lakhs of copies in a matter of time. So this is the main difference between the manuscript and the print documents. Manuscripts are just done manually and printed documents are done with the help of the machines. Can we imagine a world without a printed matter? Think of it. Whether you can imagine a world without printed matter? The answer is obviously no. It is quite difficult, very difficult for us to imagine a world without printed matter. You can find everywhere these printed materials. Even in your room, you might find calendars which are printed off with the help of the machine. You will get newspaper daily in your house. You might be getting it also. That is also printed material. Even whenever you purchase something, you find that the packets are having the printed material. So it is really very difficult, my friends, my students, to imagine a world without printed matter. So obviously the answer is no. Let us get some examples where we find these printed materials. We find evidence of print everywhere around us. Let me give you examples. Where? In books, where you are having the books from the beginning, from class nursery to right now, and you will have it in your throughout life. Books are the printed materials. Journals are the printed materials. Diaries, might be having separate diaries, personal diaries also, and even school diaries also. Newspapers, even print of famous paintings. Famous paintings are also printed materials. Let us move ahead. Cinema posters. Yes, you might have seen many times. Posters are also the printed material. Theater programs, even people are using printed materials in theater programs also. Dramas, advertisements. These are the places we can find printed materials. I can't mention all the places. So I mentioned few of them there where we can find. We read printed literature. Yes, we read in your English grammar or even in your English literature book. We see printed images also. We follow the news through newspapers also. And we track printed public debates also. If you can't participate in a public debate, then we can go through that debate, what really happened, what was the question and the answer, and what was the reply. So we can get this printed debates and the details of the debates in the printed material like journals, magazines. We can find this one. So it is really quite hard and difficult to imagine a world without printed material. We take for granted this world of print and forget and even forget that there was a time before print also. Yes, as because we are having printer with us, just we type the documents and press Control P and just give the number of copies to be printed and just press enter. That is all we are doing. We have forgotten how really the print materials have been invented and how the printing methods and techniques have been invented. We used to forget this. We also may not realize that print itself has a history. But my friends, my dear students, print itself has a large history. And I am giving you guarantee that you will really enjoy the history of print also. So let us start. Do you really know what is the history of print? When did printed literature begin to circulate? How has it helped to create the modern world? Obviously, many of you might be knowing also about the history of print and all these questions, but many of you might not be knowing all these things also. So that is all we are going to study in this chapter. Let us go through the overview of this chapter, what we are going to study. We will look at the development of print from its beginnings in East Asia to its expansion in Europe and India. So you might have got some sign what I am going to start from where I'm going to start, beginning in East Asia. And we will understand the impact of the spread of technology also. We will also consider how social lives and culture changed with the coming of print. So can you imagine really the print can also change the social lives and culture? Can you really understand the impact of the spread of technology, the coming of the technology, what it has changed the technology in printing? Let us go through in this chapter. Book making before the age of print, that is from Akhlaqi Nasiri, that is 1595. So my dear students, we are going to discuss about 400 years back, 415 years back. And a book making before the age of the print. Yes, how the books were made. Now let us see this image. Just watch it very carefully and have a very careful view that what are the people doing over there. You can see over there that what are the people are enjoying or what are they involved in, what are they really doing there. This is a royal workshop in the 16th century, much before printing began in India. That is well before 16th century, when printing has not been developed in India at that time also. So what are these people doing? You can see over here. I can see over here that this man is dictating something, and this particular man is writing. And that written material you can see over there that they are going through proofreading. Okay, and on the other hand, you can see that someone is just trying to print those materials by using some technology that we will discuss in this chapter. We can see, we can see that the text being dictated, written, and as well as illustrated also. Even the art of writing and illustrating by hand was important in the age before print. The art of writing was quite important before the age of print also. Think about what happened to these forms of art with the coming of printing machine. With the coming of printing machine, what really happened? Whether this form of art or printing with these methods that you can see over there has been vanished or it is still there. You will have to just think of, my dear students. So we are going to start from China, as the earliest kind of print technology has been developed in China only. So China is the boss of printing technology, we can say. They are the boss and they have invented the earliest kind of print technology. The earliest, I'm saying, that is quite important, my dear students. They have introduced this one. And the technology was known as wood block printing technology. So the name of the technology that have been invented by China was wood block print technology. And now let me show you the steps, how the people were printing before these printing machines. Let me show you few steps. Number one, the people started in China, they started first of all writing on the woods. You can see that something is being written, that is Chinese alphabet. People are writing with the marker or black ink, they are writing on the woods. They are writing on the woods. Now, what is the next step? After writing those, they used to carve those letters. There's Chinese letters, alphabets. They used to carve it out. काट के छोटे छोटे letters को वो निकालते हैं wood से. First of all, they write, and then after that, with the sharp, you can see sharp knife is there, sharp tool is there, and they are carving the letters. Next, you can see over there that how careful the man is and how it will take a lot of time. It will consume a lot of time, my dear students, that if you will write the letters and if you will start carving it like this one. What is the next step? After that, they used to arrange these letters which they have been carved in, which they have carved out. So they are arranging the letters so that they can form words and sentences. So suppose you are writing a particular word, T-H-E, then they will have to write T-H-N-E in a wooden block, and then they will have to carve it out, and they will have to arrange this T-H-E in an arranged order so that it can form words. So you can see the next letter is letters, and over here the letters. So they will have to print E 2 times, they will have to get T 2 times. So like this they were printing, they were just carving out the letters and then arranging to make sentences or words. Now the next one, you can see the man is arranging. The next step is what? After arranging those letters to form sentences or paragraphs, they used to pour ink, ink उस पे डालते थे, those on arranged letters. They used to pour ink on the arranged words and sentences. और ink को डालने के बाद उसको अच्छे से मिला देना. They used to just mix it throughout the letters, and after that they used to adjust paper over the words or sentences after pouring the ink. By getting after wetting the letters and making it wet with the ink, they used to put the paper on the letters. You can see the man is doing that, adjusting the paper. And after that, they used to take one brush type of material. You can see that is a brush, and they used to rub above the paper. You can see the print is just coming out on the paper. Rubbing a paper with a brush to get the print. And that is the last step, my dear friends. You can see that is the final checking the print, checking the print, how the print has been done. So you have just imagined, can you imagine that how many steps are there in just printing one particular paragraph or one story? They will have to work very hard. And you can see over there in this image that after printing that particular sheet of paper, they used to underline the important words and sentences in a separate way like this. You can see they're just underlining the important words and sentences, highlighting the words and sentences even. And even the students, the thirsty students who have the thirst of getting knowledge and skills of earlier technologies also, you can see students are learning over there in the school, in the coaching, that how that particular art of wood block print technology was working at that time. Students are still learning, they wanted to know, they want to quench their thirst. प्यास बुझाना है अपने बच्चों को. You can see they are learning, and they are first of all learning how to write the Chinese letters, and then they will, you can see after carving out, they will just they are learning over there, pouring the ink, even the brushing this one, brushing the ink over, mixing the ink. You can see the girl is doing himself, the student is doing himself herself, student trying and quenching the thirst, अपने प्यास को बुझा रही है वो. And finally she got the printed material. So you, my students, you can also try this technology at your home to practice, so that you can also just learn how we have got the printed materials nowadays. That was the beginning, and that was the thing that has been done by the Chinese people. The first printed book. Do you know the first printed book? Which one is the first printed book? Many of you might be knowing also. Let us start this one. Handwriting. We are going to start with the handwriting from AD 594. So that is after the birth of Jesus Christ, and that is 594, AD 594 onwards. Books in China were printed by rubbing paper. That is also invented in China. That rubbing paper was also invented by the China, on which they were just rubbing the and getting the printed materials. So that particular rubbing paper was also printed, and even the technology of wood block printing technology has been also developed and in that China only. You can see this technology was known as wood block print technology, invented in China. Now, what were the problems as well as the solution with the wood block print technology? There were some problems also. Let us see what were the problems. The sheet can't be printed both sides. And it was thin, and the sheet जो होते हैं वो बहुत thin होते थे, and even porous means ink जो है उसके आर पार हो जाते थे. That is known as porous, है ना? So it was the sheet, the rubbing paper was quite thin as well as porous, and it was just absorbing the ink in the paper. So it cannot be printed from both the sides. That was one of the problem. So what they have introduced, the Chinese, the book was folded and stitched. So they started what? By making such a book which they can fold and stitch at the side, similarly to the traditional Chinese accordion book. So that was the solution. I can show you that accordion book. That was the solution by them, what they were doing, how they were doing that one. Let me show you this one, accordion book. You can see over here. This is the accordion book, my dear students. You can see. So they just got this particular invention. Yes, okay, we will print from one side only, and they were just keeping the papers of the book like this one, so that they cannot touch with each other, so that if they will touch, if both the pages of the same book will touch each other, then the ink will be just mixed up and nothing will be readable. So they got this one, they were just stitching it from this side. You can see this side, and then this side, again this side. So they were stitching it, and the book was like this one. So the accordion book was invented to accommodate scrolls, so that they can have the same book at the same time. Only superbly skilled craftsmen could duplicate this art of calligraphy, means the art of beautiful and stylish writing. That is also one of the problem, my dear students, that we can't understand the writing of each and every person. Someone write it in a cursive way, someone write it in a different way. So nowadays also we can't understand the writing of the doctors. Many of the doctors, they used to write in different way. So this is one of the skill that those people who were doing this one in a beautiful and stylish writing they were having. So that is the art, that is the only skill craft person could only duplicate that particular things. So such persons were not in large in number. That is also one of the problem in China, that the people who were quite skilled, they were not large in number. So there was a problem in duplicating any of the work also, remarkable with remarkable accuracy. So the technology of hand printing was then carried from China to Korea and Japan through Buddhist monasteries. Buddhist people, those who used to preach people and teach about Buddhism, those people, they carried this technology with them from China to Korea and as well as Japan also, so that the people of Japan and Korea can also learn this technology. So I think that we have got this point, that about the calligraphy means only superbly skilled craftspersons were able to duplicate the work, to write the work again and again, to make the duplicate copies. So this is art, that is the art of what? Beautiful and stylish writing also. And that is also why quite important, my dear students, that you will have to make it with accuracy. Means there is no chances of erasing or backspace, there is no delete key. So you must be very accurate while you are arranging the letters and making it the final printout. So that is why this is known as that only superbly skilled craftsmen can do that particular work. So let us move ahead to the next topic, and that is quite important also. Civil service examination question from in the board examination come from this part also. So the imperial state of China was the major producer of printed material. That imperial state means Shahi state, means the government. The government of China was the major producer of printed material. And China possessed a huge bureaucratic system. Now, what is that bureaucratic system? Means there was a system of competition if the government want to recruit and hire some person, they used to make they used to go through the competition like we are having in India also. So if suppose if you want a government job, then you will have to what, crack the competitive examination. So likewise China was having at that time also that bureaucratic system which recruited its personnel through what, civil service examination, that we are also having in India also, civil service examination like BPSC, UPSC examination. So a lot of a student used to read books and try their luck to get this government job in China. So textbooks for this examination were printed in vast numbers under the sponsorship of what, imperial state, because they were the major producer of this printed material. So the textbooks for this examination to crack this civil service examination were in huge demand in China. From 16th century, the number of examination candidates rose up, और भी candidates बढ़ते चले गए, so that they can crack civil service examination. And if really they want to pass this civil service examination, they will have to go through the books. So which automatically increase the volume of print also. So the China started printing more and more. Now, can you answer this question? Why did the imperial state of China remain the major producer of printed material for preparation and recruitment for a long time? So answer we have just discussed. And the Chinese civil service examination was one of the important reason because of which imperial state of China were the major producer of the printed material. And from 16th century onward, the number of examination candidates also rose up. So there was a requirement or demand of huge print also from in China. So that is all in this tutorial, my dear students. We will also go through the next video tutorial in just few days. For the time being, if you're new to the channel, then please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon also. And don't forget to comment and share it with your friends also. Stay at home and stay safe, my dear students. Bye-bye. Take care. A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. You're all welcome to your favorite YouTube channel, Let's Learn Together. And this is Shafiq Ahmed. And here I present you the second part of the chapter, Print Culture and the Modern World, that we have just begun in our previous tutorial. This chapter is going to teach us all about how the manual printing changed to the mechanical printing. We are going to learn about the history of printing. Let us begin our second tutorial with the name of the Almighty. The first printed books, we were learning about that one also. We have got learned a lot in the previous tutorial. Now we are going to discuss about the new readership bloomed in China. Means people started learning and reading the books, and that really boomed in China in the 17th century as the urban culture bloomed in China with the uses of the print, as well as it also expanded as well. Means as more and more print material was there, so the reading culture among the people also bloomed in the 17th century because of the increment in the printing technologies. Merchants, they were using their print in the everyday life also to collect what, to collect about the trading information, whatever they were purchasing and selling, about the dues. So they were all just now started writing. So and printing, they were just uses printing technology so that they can remember them or keep the records of the accounts safely. Reading also increased, and it now changed into a leisure activity. Leisure activity means when people are free, they started reading books, even novels, poetries, autobiographies, anthologies, that is the albums of literary masterpieces. And even they also started reading, the people started also reading romantic plays also. And what about the rich women? The rich women also began to read, and many women began publishing their poetry and plays also. So women were also not left behind. They started reading, and even they started publishing their own poetries as well as plays also. So really, good contribution from the women's side also. Wives of scholar officials also, they publish their work also. So wives of the scholars officials, they also started publishing their work. Even the quotations means people who struggled in their life also started writing about their lives, because they were knowing that they can get their work, they can get their writing published and printed, so that majority of the people can go through about their writings. So that's why people just, everybody took pen on their hand, in their hand, so that they can write about their lives or write about the poetries as well as plays, novels, everything. Everyone started writing, so because they were knowing that they can print and circulate, the majority of the people were going to read their stories or poetries or plays. And this reading new culture, the reading new culture that have been established in China, got accompanied, means got helped by a new technology that we are going to study in the later part of the chapter about that new technology also. So I think now you can answer this simple question: how are the people using print in China in their every day-to-day life? So I have just discussed, so you can please write and make your notes also. So our topic, the first printed books, also continued over here also. Handwriting to mechanical printing, that is the answer of that new technology. This is the new technology that people change their hand printing, manual printing, to mechanical printing also. Let us see. Western printing techniques and mechanical presses were imported in the late 19th century. Means the manual printing started in AD 594 that we have just gone through, that is the 6th century. But you can see over here that Western printing techniques were imported in the late 19th century. It took a lot of time to get hands in the printing techniques or the mechanical pressing. It took a lot of time. That is in the 19th century. You can see over there. But hand printing now gradually means slowly it shifted to mechanical printing, and we will learn a lot about that mechanical printing also. And Shanghai became the hub of new printing culture. Shanghai was also known as, and even nowadays also it is known as, the commercial, you can say, capital of China. Means a lot of commercial activities goes over this in this place, in that city, Shanghai. So it became the hub of the new print culture at that time also. You can see over here that hand printing changed to this machine printing. People invented a lot of technologies and machine, so that they can do the printing with the help of the machine also. You can change, you can see over here, you can see with the help of the arrow dash. So okay, let us see where from now that printing technology has traveled from China to where in that place. So printing technology over here, you can see that has traveled from China to Japan. Now it's good luck for the Japan that they are not going to get this technology, printing technology. The Buddhist missionaries, the Buddhist messengers, those who were there in China, they learned that technology about that wood block printing technology, even that mechanical printing presses, they learned there, and they brought that hand printing technology, that wood block printing technology, into Japan around 768 to 770 AD. The oldest Japanese book that printed in AD 868. You can see how the time are going. It was invented in 594. Now it's going. Technology reached Japan in 768 to 770, and the oldest Japanese book printed in the year AD 868. And the name of that book, oldest Japanese book that was printed in Japan, was the name of book was that is Diamond Sutra. And I can show you one of the image of that particular diamond, one of the pages of Diamond Sutra book also, that Buddhist Diamond Sutra. It contains 6 you can see one, that is one of the page that was first printed in Japan in AD 868. You can see this one. So let us move ahead with our topic. So it contained, that Diamond Sutra contained 6 sheets of text and even wood cut illustrations. Illustration means many of the designs you can see at the pages on the top, at the border, in the border side. So it was consisting of wood cut, means लकड़ियों को काट कर उन्होंने उसको डिजाइन किया पेज को खूबसूरत बनाने के लिए. So it contains 6 sets of text also, that Diamond Sutra book. Pictures were also printed at that time in Japan on textiles, on clothes, even playing cards, and even paper money also. The people started printing paper money also, and pictures were also there. Now we are also having paper money in our country and throughout the world also we are having paper money also. Poems and prose were regularly published in Japan, and books were cheap and abundant. Now the books were becoming cheap because of the technologies. We all know that that manual printing was very costly. The books were very costly at that time because it needs a lot of time and hard work. But with the help of the wood block printing technology, the books were cheap, even in abundant also. ना बहुत ज़्यादा मात्रा में available थे books. Even they were cheap also. In the late 18th century at Edo is the name of the city that is now known as Tokyo. So in 18th century at Tokyo, people demonstrated collections of paintings also. And they even describe stylish urban culture involving all type of people. You can see artists, courtesans are also there, and even tea house gatherings are also there. Means people who used to have tea with their friends. So this type of paintings, even the paintings, they demonstrated a lot of the life of the people at that particular time also. Even libraries, book and bookstores were packed with hand printed material of various types, such as, so libraries and bookstores were also full of books. And books were of different types. Let us see, books on women was available, books on musical instruments, calculations, tea ceremony, flower arrangement, even proper etiquettes, cooking. Books on cooking are still famous nowadays. Books on cooking and even books on famous places. All type of books you can see were available for the people to read, to learn, to know, and to share. So that was the printing technology helping and blooming in Japan also. Now I hope that you can answer these questions very easily, which is going to be there in front of your screen. This question number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That 8 number question, how was the hand printing technology brought into Japan and when? So you can obviously answer these questions. So let us move ahead and let us travel the print technology now from China to Europe. Let us see from where it has started in Europe. We can have a view at the political map of Europe also. Let us see that map of Europe, that which are the countries available in Europe. You can see Sweden, Finland, Russia, Ukraine, Germany, France, Romania, Italy. Italy is also there. Bulgaria is also there. So that is the map of Europe you can see from here. So let us begin from Europe. Print in Europe. That is our new that is our new topic. For centuries, we know you must have learned in class 6 onwards that silk and spices from China, it flowed into Europe through the Silk Route. And from the same route, this Chinese paper which they have invented for printing, they have invented Chinese paper also. So this Chinese paper reached throughout the Europe via the same route of silk and spices, from which these silk and spices reached to the other countries of Europe. So from the same route, this Chinese paper also reached Europe. Paper made the production of manuscripts possible. Now people started writing on paper also. Previously, when there was no paper, they used to write on leaves, on rocks and pillars, and even they used to write on leathers. So now as they got the paper, so they started writing on paper. So those were known as, those are handwritten. We know that they are known as manuscripts. So they were carefully written by the scribes. Now who are these scribes? Scribes are the skilled handwriters. They are very skillful. Their writing, their way of writing, their stylish writing, they are very famous in writing. So it was carefully written by the scribes. And who are these scribes? Person who copies out documents also. They are very skillful handwriters. They can write new documents as well as they can copy the documents also. So paper made the work very easily. And in the year 1295, Marco Polo. Now you must have learnt about the name of Marco Polo previously also, and I can show you the image of Marco Polo also. So this was the man who brought this printing technology. He was a great explorer. He returned to Italy after many years of exploration in China, and he brought this technology of wood block printing back with him. So he has not come back to Italy empty-handed. He came to China. He went to China, and when he went back to his country, Italy, he brought that technology of wood block printing back with him, and he taught the people of his country about the wood block printing technology. Now Italians began producing books with the wood block printing technology, and soon this technology spread to other parts of Europe also. So in Europe, we can say that that wood block printing technology started spreading from Italy with the help of this great explorer Marco Polo, who brought this wood block printing technology in Europe with him, because he explored a lot of years in China and he learned that. Even luxury editions were still handwritten on very expensive vellum. Now luxury editions means these editions, it was written for the rich people, for the VIPs. They used to purchase this type of written materials, and these written materials were especially written in vellum. Vellum, what is that? A parchment made of from the skins of animals. Skins of animals से बनाया हुआ एक parchment, that is a piece of paper, you can say, or piece of writing material, known as vellum. So I can show you the photo image of vellum also. You can see vellum here. So this type of skin, they used to use the skin of the animals to make such a type of writing material in which they can write on the documents. So the people were writing on this type of documents for these rich people, because they just insisted that they want writings in that particular type of vellum. So luxury editions means are only for the rich people or the aristocratic, means the noble people, and rich monastic यानी आश्रम संबंधी लोगों के लिए, even for aristocrat यानी कि noble people के लिए ये luxury editions बनाए जाते थे, which make fun of printed books. And they were making fun this type of people. Aristocratic means noble people, and even rich monastic यानी आश्रम में रहने वाले लोग, है ना, जो those Buddhist monasteries, they were just making fun of printed books as cheap vulgarities. Means they were saying that, things printed on the cheap paper which have come from China. So they were just making fun of those paper, because they were saying that they are really tasteless, they are useless. Means they were just saying indirectly that they just believe on this vellum, and they thought that it is a pride to have this writing on the vellum skills, and they were just making fun of these printed books, because they were thinking that it is really a cheap activity which will not suit their. Let us see merchants and students in the university towns bought the cheaper printed books, because they want to read and crack the competitive examination. Students want to learn, so they was just very happy with the printed copies, with the printed materials in that particular cheap paper. So they were going for cheaper things, merchants and even students also. Booksellers all over Europe began exporting, then sending the books to the other countries for selling. They began exporting books to many different countries with the increasing demands of the book, because books were in great demands. Even book fairs were held at different places. Production of handwritten manuscripts were also organized, because it was also in great demand by the rich people. So they want handwritten manuscripts to be handwritten on that vellum, that is the skin of animals. So it was in great demand also. So even they were organizing such a particular place or new ways to meet that expanded demand also of manuscripts also. Now scribes were in great demand because they were skilled, they were skilled in writing, they were the writings, their styles were very famous. So scribes, or you can say the skilled handwriters, were no longer solely employed by the wealthy or any influential patrons, that is dominant supporters. Means these scribes were not just being employed by the wealthy persons. Now these scribes were also employed by the booksellers as well also. So booksellers के अलावा है ना, wealthy persons के अलावा booksellers भी अपॉइंट करने लगे scribes को. And that is a great fact, my dear student, that more than 50 scribes often worked for one bookseller. एक एक bookseller ने 50 scribes को वो लोग employer मतलब एम्प्लॉय के तौर पर रखते थे. They were just keeping or hiring 50 scribes. You know, each bookseller was having 50 scribes working under them so that they can write and they can produce the books, manuscripts also, and even the printed materials also. So that was the blooming of the technology. Now we are going to learn about the limitations of handwritten manuscripts. है ना, manuscripts handwritten होंगे तो उसके क्या limitations or drawbacks, or you can say the disadvantages. Demands cannot be fulfilled if you will just be believe on or just stay at limited on the manuscripts, because we know that if you will write something with your hands, that is, you cannot compete with the machines. You cannot compete with the technology or woodblock printing technology. So the demand were not fulfilled because of the manuscripts. The production of handwritten manuscripts could not satisfy because it was the demand for the books were ever increasing. वो बढ़ते ही जा रहा था demand for the books. और manuscripts हाथ से कितने कॉपी करेंगे आप. So it was not fully fulfilling the demand of the people. That is one of the limitation, or you can say the drawback of manuscripts. Expensive also. Copying was an extensive, even laborious and time consuming business also. अगर manuscripts को 1 से 4, 10, 20, 50 copy बनाना है, then it is also very expensive, laborious and time consuming also. That is also one of the ड्रॉबैक. फ्रेजाइल एंड अनकंफर्टेबल. फ्रेजाइल मीन बहुत जल्दी वो खराब हो जाएंगे, टूट जाएंगे, डैमेज हो जाएंगे मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स. सो मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स वर फ्रेजाइल, वीक, इजीली डैमेज्ड. Uncomfortable to handle. You cannot carry it, you know, from one place to another because it is written, just handwritten on the skins or even on some papers. If it is handwritten, then it is really uncomfortable to handle it and could not be carried around or read easily. Even the circulation therefore remained limited. You cannot circulate in a huge public. If you want to have 1 lakh copy of a particular book which is just manuscripts, then it is really impossible that you can produce 1 lakh book at a particular time. So that these are the drawbacks of these handwritten manuscripts. And with the growing demand of books, woodblock printing gradually become more and more popular. है ना, जैसे जैसे बुक्स का डिमांड बढ़ते जा रहा था, this technology, woodblock printing technology, was also becoming more popular and popular. Woodblocks were used in Europe to print even on the textiles, clothes, that playing cards, even religious pictures with simple brief text by the early 15th century. So in the early 15th century, the woodblock printing technology was there in Europe, and even people were printing on textile. Religious pictures were also there, but even quicker and cheaper reproduction of text were the need. We can't say that this is the last invention. Woodblock printing technology was not the last invention that the people were looking for. They were just always a demand for the quicker and the cheaper reproduction of text. यानी कभी भी एक मशीन आने के बाद ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि और दोबारा यही लास्ट हो गया मशीन. We must move ahead. So people were also looking for quicker and cheaper reproduction of text even after that woodblock printing technology also. So there is always a chance of a new invention. So that was the demand of the time. The invention of a new printing technology was the demand of that time. That is all in this video tutorial, my dear friends, my dear students. If you are new to this channel, then please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon also to get the information of the next release of the tutorial. Please share it with your friends and others also, and don't forget to comment also. That's all. Thank you in this tutorial. May God bless you all. Stay at home and stay safe. A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. Welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel, Let's Learn Together. And this is the third tutorial from the chapter Print Culture and the Modern World. And in our previous tutorial, we have gone through about the limitations of handwritten manuscripts. Now it's time to move ahead and read further, discuss the chapter. Let's come with me and start it. Gutenberg and the printing press means the people who are wanting, and there were huge demand of what quicker method of printing. So Johann Gutenberg, very good man. He was a scientist, you can say that he was an inventor, and he developed the first known printing press in the year 1430. That is the figure. You can see a portrait of Johann Gutenberg in the year 1584. So what he did, he developed the first known printing press. That is the first mechanical device to print the papers or print for printing work. And you can see in this particular photograph, you can see over here that the frame of the device is there, and there is a screw, and as well as handle is there, and the platen, or under the platen you can see the printing block placed over the paper. So as we know that in woodblock printing technology, what people were doing at that time, that they were brushing. They were using brush to get the print out. So the method of pressing the things on the paper was developed by Gutenberg, and he developed into a system. And you can see from this platen, they can press on the paper and get the print out. And you can see the blocks of the letters are beneath the paper, and above the paper there is a platen, and he just using handle to press it down. So the papers can be printed, and even in here you can see they can put the ink over there in the frame, and it will just keep on printing and printing. So you can see Gutenberg developed metal types for each of the 26 characters of the Roman alphabet, that is A to Z. He developed what? Metal types, because we know that wooden characters can really get damaged after many uses. So what he developed metal characters so that it can last long. And this came to be known as the movable type printing machine also. This particular machine is movable. And it remained the basic print technology over the next 300 years. My God, Gutenberg printing press remained the basic print technology over the next 300 years. Now books could now be produced much faster than was possible when each print block was prepared by carving a piece of wood by hand. So the Gutenberg press could now print 250 sheets on one side per hour. Now that is the speed, that is the maximum speed of that Gutenberg press, that he was printing 250 sheets on one side per hour. So that was a good speed, genuinely. 250 sheets per hour. That was the speed that Gutenberg printing press was having. So let us move ahead. We have seen the printing press also. Gutenberg was the son of a merchant. Now let us learn how Johann Gutenberg developed that printing press, where from he got the idea. So he got the idea from his history, from his background. Gutenberg was the son of a merchant, and he grew up on a large agriculture estate. So his father was having a lot of agriculture land also. So he was just involved in that also. Even he had seen wine presses and olive presses from his childhood, because they were just pressing the fruits that are used to make wine also. So he was knowing about this type of machine, that these machines can be invented and can be used. So let me show you this wine and olive presses, from where he got the idea. Let me show you. You can see over here. These are the wine presses above, and you can see the olive presses. So he got the idea of pressing, how to press the things. He got the idea from these particular two machines, and that using the idea, he just developed that printing press also. He learned the art of polishing stones. He was having another skill of polishing stones, and he became a master goldsmith also. He expertised to create lead molds, and now he used the idea of Goldsmith for what? For creating lead malls, means temporary structure, that letters, alphabets in metal character that he developed in the printing press. He got that idea of using the metal or changing or molding the metal into simple characters, alphabetic characters. He learned that idea from, he got the idea from Master Goldsmith, because he was a goldsmith also. He learned that art also. He was knowing that art also. So he used the art of wine presses, as well as he used the art of this goldsmith also to bring out the device known as Johann Gutenberg printing press. And you can see over here, he expertise to create lead molds, that is temporary structure used for making trinkets. You can see the trinkets over here also. These are the trinkets. These are the structure that he was very perfect in designing and carving it out, because he was just good in metals. He was using, he was a goldsmith, so he know how to carve out the metals also. So he used that idea. Drawing on this knowledge, Gutenberg adapted existing technology, and he just developed and designed his innovation. The Oli press provided the model for the printing press. So he got the model that we have just seen in the printing press, Johann Gutenberg. So he got the idea of model how to press on the papers. He got the idea from those wine presses and Oli presses, and he got the idea of molding and making characters which were used for letters. He got that idea from the metal characters that he was also using in Master Goldsmith's process. So by 1448 Gutenberg perfected the system. 1448 तक Gutenberg ने system को perfect कर दिया था, means it was ready for use. And what he did, the first book he printed was the Bible. That is quite important for MCQ, my dear students. Name the first book printed by Johann Gutenberg machine, that printing device. So the first book he printed was the Bible, and it contained 180 copies. He printed 180 copies, which took 3 years to produce them, because Bible can contain a lot of pages also. So he produced 180 copies in 3 years, means 60 copies a year. So that was the first thing he did, and he perfected the system. He removed the errors, whatever the errors might be there. He first used it and then removed all the errors from that one. So this was the first production by the standard of that time. That was the great speed of that time, because before that people were using what? That wooden block printing technology, using wood cuts and using wooden letters. They were all doing at that time. But this was the fastest speed of that time, that he printed 180 copies in 3 years. Let us see what happened next. You can answer these questions also to make your notes. These are the questions, 9 to 16 are there. So you just better, I'm just putting it in the front of your screen so that you can take a screenshot and make notes also. Now let us move ahead. Let us compare between manuscripts and printed books. There is no comparison, my dear students, because manuscripts manually and those printed books, now they have the machine. So the new technology did not entirely displace this new technology. Johann Gutenberg printing press did not entirely displace the existing art of producing books by hands. Means there was still demand of manuscripts. There were still people who wanted manuscripts, who want handwritten books. So printed books at first closely looked alike the written manuscripts in appearance and layout. Printed books was looking alike the written one, because people were developing that characters also according to them. They were just printing, and they were developing such characters which could lead them, that which can show that it is handwritten also. So let us move ahead and see what happened next. The metal letters copied and duplicated the ornamental handwritten styles that I told you. So the metal letters that they were producing in the Johann Gutenberg press was just copying the handwritten style, means cursive A, like they were just making out cursive A, cursive B, C, D, and different styles of writing. They were making letters of different styles so that they can copy that and they can show that it is also manually done. Borders were darkened by hand. Borders bhi wo log kaise banate the? By hand, because they just developed how to make characters, alphabets. They did not invent anything about the borders. So they were just darkening the borders by hand. using plants, different type of designs and other patterns, even illustration designs were painted by hand. That were manually was doing, still people were doing manually on the printout. They were making borders and design by their hand. Space for decoration was kept blank on the printed page. They was keeping that space on the printed page blank for the rich people, so that they can choose their own design, and the painting school was doing that illustration or designing according to the order of the rich people. So they were keeping the space for designing blank so that they can choose. The people, the rich people can choose their own design, and they will do the needful after that. So let us move ahead to our next topic. The print revolution. Now the people were having printed books, and there is less time needed to print the books also. So in the next 100 years, between 1450 and 1550, printing presses were set up in almost all the countries of Europe. Now Europe was having printing press everywhere. Printer operators, now those who were operating those printing machine known as operators. So those printer operators from Germany, they traveled to other countries also in search of work, and they also were helping other people to start new type of printing press with the help of Johann Gutenberg printing press, because they were knowing how to operate the machines. So printers from Germany, they were traveling to other countries also, and book production boomed with the growth of these printing presses, and now there were more and more books on the for the people. And the second half of the 15th century, what it saw, that 20 million copies of printed books were flooding down the markets of Europe. So 20 million copies of printed books were there. So remember this also, 20 million copies in the 15th century was there in the market in Europe. And the number went up in the 16th century from 20 million to 200 million copies. Now 10 time increment was there in the next century. 20 million copies were there in the markets of Europe. This shift of hand printing to mechanical printing led this particular print revolution in Europe, because it was not quite possible that they can produce 20 million copies with that only wooden block printing technology. So this particular Johann Gutenberg's printing machine helped the people to produce more and more. So this hand printing to mechanical printing led this particular print revolution, my dear students. Let us see one of the pages from the Johann Gutenberg's Bible. Bible का एक page हम लोग देखते हैं. You can see over here closely that there are many illustration designs are also there. है ना, आप देख सकते हैं बहुत सारे design. So these spaces were left blank for the rich people also, so that they can choose their own design. You can see at the bottom also many designs are there. You can see. So ये सारे spaces जो hand से बनाते थे ये designs वगैरह लोग, है ना. Only printing was done with the Johann Gutenberg machine, but these designs were made by hand. This was the one of the thing. So Gutenberg printed about 182 copies, of which no more than 50 have survived. Now what is the reason? 180 copies of Bible he produced in 3 years, and now it is saying that 50 only have survived. What about those 180 copies? Those 130 copies have been damaged. That got damaged with the time because of the technology, because of the preservation. The text was printed in the new Gutenberg press with metal type, but the borders were carefully designed, even painted and illuminated by hand by the artists. So metal type characters they were using for printing the letters or the characters or the words and the sentences, but they were designing, painting and illuminating by hand. No two copies were the same. Yes, if you will take two Bible, then you will find that there are different designs. So no two copies were the same. Every copy of that 180 copies of Bible were different from each one, because there were different types of designs. Even when two copies look similar, it will look similar only if you will very carefully examine and compare. Then only you can find out the differences. Otherwise, it will look very same in the characters. In the characters, it looks same, but in the designing, if you will see the designing, it is really very different. Elites everywhere preferred this lack of uniformity. So elites, those people, those rich people, what they were saying, this elite means what? A select group that is superior in terms of ability or qualities to the rest of the group of a society. Means they were the superior group, and what they were saying, this particular elite group, they preferred this lack of uniformity. Means they wanted to say that whatever they are possessing, whatever book they are having, they were claiming that it is the unique one. No one can have this type of book that I am having. And that was the thing that they were preferring this one. Yes, we want what? Uniqueness. Because for no one else owned a copy that was exactly the same. They wanted to have such a copy which they could claim that it is the unique one. ऐसा मेरे पास जो बाइबल का कॉपी है वो और किसी के पास नहीं है, वो ऐसा कहना चाहते थे ये लोग, because they were superior and they wanted to prove it also. The use of color within the letters in various places had two functions. अब colors का जो use करते थे, है ना, that they were using in places, different places, they were using two different type of colors. Three different type of colors. Means they were using different colors for printing, and the color were having two type of function also. Number one, it added color to the page. Yes, that makes a very colorful page. And the next one was that it highlighted all the holy words or the important words. है ना, जो holy words या important words रहते थे, उसको highlight करने के लिए भी they were using different colors to highlight the important words. The color on every page of the text was added by hand. So color भी add करते थे, वो हाथ से add करते थे सारे पेज में. So it is really time consuming. Gutenberg printed the text in black. Gutenberg क्या करते थे? They used to print the text in black, leaving spaces where the color could be filled in later. So you can see that you can write A by leaving some space in between so that you can fill out the color. So that was the thing Gutenberg printing press was doing. They were just printing the text in black and leaving spaces where they can fill the color later on according to the choice of the purchaser. Let us move ahead. A printer's workshop in 16th century. Let me show you a printer workshop in the 16th century. How was the workshop there? You can see over here, Johann, something written there on the top. You can see over here that there are few people who are working over here. But the main intention was is to see that the whole process of printing is being done under one roof, under one particular company in the same particular building. You can say that everything of printing is being done over there. You can see this particular Johannesburg Gutenberg printing press is there. Operator is operating, and even here they are. You can see illustration or design they are adding over here. Someone is working over here also, and they even people. And this is the final printout you can see. So that was the thing going on at that time. So let us see the revolution and its impact. लोगों पर क्या असर पड़ता है इस print revolution का, है ना? जरा हम लोग देखते हैं इसको. Print revolution was not just a development, but it was just a new way of producing books. Yes, that is quite correct. That printing revolution was the new way of producing books. Books तो market में पहले से भी थे. That manually handwritten manuscripts was there, and that printed books from wooden block print technology. The books were also already there in the market. But this particular print revolution produced what? Brought a new way of producing books in a faster and the cheaper way also. Print revolution transformed the life of the people as information and knowledge was easily available throughout. Because books could be printed very easily in less working hours, in less time, and even it was cheaper also. Because the more you take time, the more you do labor, the more it will be costly. So less labor cost, so less price of the book also. So the print revolution affected many popular opinions, and people just openly challenging each every one of them openly by printing their books and magazines, even journals, newspapers. So people will now looking things at different angles. लोगों के पास अब क्या option था that they can view or open up a new way of looking at things. एक चीज को देखने का नजरिया भी बदल रहा था लोगों, because now they can have the debate, they can have challenging also, they can challenge each and everyone by printing their books. So let us see some of the impact of the print revolution. New reading public emerged, because books were available. So now new reading public was there also in the market. They were just looking for the books to read. Even printing reduced the cost of the book also because of this revolution, Johannesburg Gutenberg machine. And the time as well as the labor required to produce each book came down, and even multiple copies could be produced with greater ease. बहुत आसानी से multiple copies को बनाया जा सकता था. Time और labor दोनों ही कम लग रहा था. So the price of the book also came down. Books flooded the market, reaching out to an ever-growing readership. Just it was reaching from the town to the villages, and villages to the inside of the villages also. So books were everywhere. Books flooded the market. There was no you can say there was no scarcity of books, that is books are not available. It was not that case because of that particular invention of Johann Gutenberg. Access to books created a new culture of reading throughout Europe. Now we will learn about this particular topic, new topic, that is the transfer of knowledge before culture and reading, in our next class. In this tutorial, that's all. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Stay at home and stay safe, my dear students. A very good morning to all of you, my dear students. Welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel, Let's Learn Together. And this is Shafiq Ahmed. And now we are going to start with the fourth tutorial of the chapter, Print Culture and the Modern World of Grade 10 History. And our last topic was about the print revolution and its impact in our previous tutorial. Now we are going to start this one, that is transfer of knowledge from changing. And the transfer of knowledge now become and changed into a culture of reading also. So how the people were transferring knowledge before this culture of reading that was brought after the invention of Johann Gutenberg's printing press. So how the knowledge were being transferred before that, we have to go through that one also. So every reading, earlier reading was restricted to the elites, means only these people who were best selected, privileged and wealthy people, they were only going through the books, because the common people were just living in the world of oral culture. They were not literate also, so they could not read books. Even they were not wealthy enough to purchase those costly books which were made with the help of wooden block printing technology. So the common people were living in a world of oral culture. They used to hear, है ना, वो लोग सुनते थे जब उनको सुनाया जाता था. They heard sacred books, means those holy books, Bible. So they were just hearing it as it was read out to them. Ballads recited, mean ballads also were recited to them. Ballads, what are those ballads? Those are historical account or the folk tale in verse, usually sung or recited. Ballads वो accounts होते हैं, है ना, historical accounts related to their folk or local customs and culture, that all. So they used to sing, or it was also recited to them. And even folk tales were narrated to them so that they can get the knowledge. So the knowledge was transformed to those oral culture people who were not able to read. They were illiterate. So this information was transferred to them orally, or even it was read out to them in public. Knowledge was transferred orally only before the culture of reading, that was before the invention of printing technology. People collectively, they used to hear a story or saw a performance. Yeah, so with the help of drama, with the help of stage show, or with the help of story, they used to get knowledge. And they used to sit collectively in a place and they used to get the knowledge. They did not read a book individually and silently, as they were not able to read. Before the age of print, books were not only expensive, because before we are talking about before the invention of that printing press, books were not expensive, were not only expensive, but they could not be produced in sufficient number also. है ना, एक तो पहले expensive bhi the book, and it was also not able to be produced in sufficient number also. So that was the hindrances, or you can say, in transfer of knowledge before the invention of those machines. Now with the coming of those printing technologies, whether it is wooden block printing technology or whether it is Johann Gutenberg printing press, now new books could be produce in a much easier way and in a lesser time and in a cheaper cost also. So now new books were reaching out to the wider section of the people, and hearing public, those who were just hearing, they were transforming into a reading public. Now as the books were available at cheaper cost, so people were trying to learn the letters also, trying to become literate so that they can read books from their own self also. So the eagerness of learning or to becoming a literate person started increasing. This eagerness started increasing. People were now trying to learn and get literate so that they can read the books from their own self at their own time. Because when you will depend on hearing a book, then you will have to wait for that particular time when someone will read it for you. You will have to go out collectively, sit together so that it can be read out to you. So people were having difficulty in that. So people were now, as the books were available at cheaper cost and it was available in sufficient number also after the invention of printing technologies, now the people were changing from the public hearing public to the reading one. Now let us see what happened next. Now books could be read only before that one, before books could be read only by the literate person, and the rates of literacy in most European countries till 20th century, it was quite low, the rate of literacy in Europe. So books were only read by the literate person. जो पढ़ने जानते थे वही पढ़ते थे. The publishers wanted to reach even those who did not read, but could certainly enjoy listening to books being read out. So publishers उन तक भी पहुंचना चाहते थे जो book नहीं पढ़ना चाहते. Now how can they sell their book to a literate person? Now they were thinking and planning about this one, because people were enjoying and enjoying listening to the books because it was read out to them. But publishers wanted different thing. They want to sell their books to those illiterate persons also. Now, do you have any idea how can they do this? Yes, they got the idea. Printers began publishing popular ballads, means folk stories, even folk tales, and they demonstrated those stories with pictures in order to convince the common people to welcome to the printing book. Means now they started taking advantage or trying to attract the illiterate person also with the help of pictures, so that they can also purchase the books to look at the images also of old time. So that was the new idea invented by those publishers, or you can say the printers. They introduced a lot of images and pictures in their books. Now these ballads and folk tales were then sung also. Now that is also arranged by those publisher or printers. So ballads and folk tales were sung and recited at gatherings in villages, even in taverns. Taverns means what? People where they used to gather together to drink alcohol or to do some party type of things, to serve food, so to meet friends and even exchange news. So they used to send their send the ballads and folk tales so that it can be sung and recited to those people also in towns. Oral culture thus entered into the print culture, and now printed material was orally transmitted. So they were just trying to sell their books, and they were even successful also. People were also purchasing books, those who were illiterate, and they were giving to the literate person so that it can be read out to them. So the line which was there between the oral and the reading culture, it was now becoming hazy and hazy. Now that line is going to be just leave out. That line was going to be hazy, and it is now going to be vanished also. So the hearing public and the reading public, सुनने वाले एक public और जो पढ़ने वाले public, now they were both combining, मिल रहे थे एक साथ. They were changing also. They were exchanging their views and opinions also. तो एक दूसरा जमाना आ गया था because of this particular printing revolution. Religious debate भी start हो गया, and the fear of print was also there. Now religious debate कौन कर रहे थे और डर कौन रहे थे? Let us see. Print helped the people to circulate a wide range of their ideas. So now the people who were having their ideas in their mind, they were just trying to circulate those ideas with the help of this printing technology. Previously it was not possible because manuscripts, everyone can't write, so their ideas was just among within them. Now with the help of this technology, they can circulate their ideas with the help of printing. Print introduced a new world of debate and discussion to everyone's door. Now they were suppose someone is printing either in favor or against any particular thing or any particular religious matter, so other were responding to them with the help of print also. So this was the thing going on. They were taking the help of the printing technology to do the debate and discussions also in the media, with the help of the media. People do, those who disagreed, they also established their authorities. They people who disagreed with the established authorities now could print and circulate their ideas. And now who are these established authorities? Means these are the church people. These are the people, or the, you can say, pope, those who were establishing or saying about the ideas of the given in the Bible. So now they are also being challenged. The people who were thinking that no, it is wrong, the Pope is saying wrong, or something is they are trying to disclose which is wrong. So now the people were ready to challenge them, and they were circulating their ideas also. They could convince people to think differently. These people who were having ideas, they were convincing people to think differently and move them to action also through the printed message. Move them action means they were just convincing people to take actions against the good or the bad thing, I don't know. But there was a challenge, that there was an atmosphere of just debate and discussion with the help of this printing technology. Now everyone was not in favor of the printed books. It was that was the time that everyone was not in favor also. And those who were in favor, they were also had a fear. जो लोग फेवर कर रहे थे प्रिंटेड बुक्स को, उनके मन में भी डर था. और वो किस चीज का डर था? लेट अस सी व्हाट वाज द फियर अमंग देम. Many were worried of the effects on people mind of the easier access to the printed word. बहुत लोग क्या डर रहे थे कि लोगों तक ये क्योंकि बुक पहुंच जा रहा है तो it will affect their mind, whatever written in the book. So those printed words can have an effect on their mind, and the wider circulation of books can make it very possible. So it can change the mind. So the people were also discussing and thinking, fearing of that this particular technology is reaching to each and everyone's door also. So people were thinking that they can challenge each and everyone, and it can affect the mind of the people also. Because there were some established rules and regulations at that particular time brought down by the church or the management or the government. So they don't want to that people after getting new ideas should challenge them. So they were in fear कि ये लोग कहीं अब लोग जो हैं, क्योंकि वो लोग प्रिंट पढ़ के आइडियाज उनके पास हो रहे हैं, तो वो कहीं गवर्नमेंट को या रिलीजियस अथॉरिटीज को चैलेंज करना ना शुरू कर दें. दैट वाज द फियर. It was feared that there was no control also what was printed and read. ये भी कोई control करने वाला नहीं था. No one was controlling that who can print and what can print, what can be printed. There was no control. So rebellious, that disloyal and irreligious thought might spread. That was also one of the fear. Disloyalty that is against the government and irreligious thought also kind of spread out with the help of this printing technology. And if that happened, the authority of those valuable literature would be also destroyed. यानी जो valuable literatures हैं, जैसे कि Bibles में लिखे हुए हैं जो भी चीजें हैं, could also be destroyed because people can print anything against the Bible also. So that was the fear among the religious people, and fear from the government side also. They were also thinking that people can revolt by reading those books also. So the fear was expressed by religious authorities as well as monarch. That I was saying, religious authorities means those popes or fathers of the church, and the monarch means the king was also fearing that it can really affect the mind of the people. Philosophers can change the mind of the people because now they are having the tool of what? Printing technology. So writers and artists, we circulated the criticism of the new print. So as well as they were just fearing, the many artists, many writers were also artists and writers were also fearing that they can criticize, they can criticize the authority, they can criticize the religious authorities also. So there was an atmosphere of fearing among in that printed literature also. Let us conclude this topic, that is result of religious debate in modern Europe. This is a very common question that is asked in board exam also, my dear students, that what was the result of the religious debate in modern Europe? And what we are going to learn about the religious debate, that is mainly about the religion. So in 1517, the religious reformer, that is Martin Luther, you might have heard this name of this great man, Martin Luther. Let me show you his image also, if I could have written in the computer. So Martin Luther, yeah, he is the man. He was a German professor of theology. Even he was a composer, priest, monk, and a famous figure in the Protestant Reformation. And what he did, Luther, he came to reject several teachings and practices of the Roman Catholic Church. Because the church was doing something wrong in that days, and he was just raising his voice, this Martin Luther. He criticized many of the practices as well as the rituals that was told by those Roman Catholic Church people. And Martin Luther wrote 95 theses regarding that. Regarding what? Regarding, or you can say, against the practices and rituals of the Roman Catholic Church people. A printed copy of this was also posted on a church door. चर्च के डोर में उन्होंने प्रिंटेड कॉपी लगा दिया था वो 95 thesis का. And where is that particular church? In Wittenberg, which challenged the church to debate his ideas. Means he was saying that few things are not written in the Bible. So why the Pope or the father of the church is telling the people against or teaching the people against the Bible? So that was the thing. He was challenging those Pope or the father of the church against the ideas which were against the Bible. So he just printed his 95 theses and pasted that on the church door and opened, and he was ready for the open challenge, open debate. Luther's writings were immediately reproduced in vast numbers. Those 95 theses were just printed in vast numbers, I mean 100 times, 1,000 times it was printed and reproduced and read widely by the people. Luther's writing led to a division within the church. अब चर्च में ही दो तरीके के लोग डिवाइड हो गए. Those who were with the Martin Luther ideas and those who were with the ideas of those Pope or the father of the church. And that led the beginning of a new particular group of people known as Protestant Reformation. They were saying they were protesting against the ill ideas or the bad ideas that was promoted by those Roman Catholic Church people. So this group of people were just protesting against those ideas. Luther's translation of the New Testament sold 5,000 copies within a few weeks. You can see over here. Luther had translated the Bible and 5,000 copies were sold in few weeks only. And a second edition appeared within 3 months. और एक second edition भी 3 महीने के अंदर ही आ गया. So Luther was deeply grateful to this printing technology and to this print. And he said that printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one, because he can disseminate, he can distribute, and he can share his ideas with a larger group of people because of this printing technology. So that was, he was very thankful. And this question might also come in your examination also, that who said this word, that printing is the ultimate gift of God and the greatest one. So remember, my dear students, Martin Luther has said. So the print brought about a new intellectual atmosphere. People were now intellectual, thinking differently. It brought out a new intellectual atmosphere. Even the people were challenging the religious authorities, even the monarch also. And it helped, the printing technology helped to spread the new ideas that led to the new transformation, my dear friend. People were just reformed and they were learning what is good and what is really bad for them. So why was Martin Luther in favor of print and spoke out in praise of it? Now I think you can answer this question, my dear students, in a very easy way. This is the next topic that we are going to learn in our next class, in our next tutorial, about the print and dissent, that is dispute and print. That is all in this tutorial, my dear students. Hope you like the video, and if you're new to the channel, then please subscribe the channel and share it with your friends also. Don't forget to comment also. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.